let's talk about how we can find, offer, and close on properties every single week for your real estate portfolio. I'll give you a practical, step-by-step guide to how you can do so. But before I jump into it, let's make a deal. If you learn and find valuable information in this video, make sure to smash the like button, okay? To start off, I'm assuming you want to close on more deals as a real estate investor and business. And even if you're solo dolo on this, or run a family business and don't necessarily have a huge portfolio or partnership, this information is still valuable, as it's always beneficial to learn more about how to market and operate your business. The first step is sending out postcards to different properties. People actually value the time someone takes to send a postcard through their mail that's specifically directed to them. And there's a certain kind of genuineness that comes from receiving a postcard, especially if you personalize it in your own way. And if they're actually interested in selling their property, they'll contact you because you've gone out of your way to get in touch with them. You can use a direct mailing postcard service, such as Deal Machine, MailChimp, Modern Postcard, and more. To start off, I recommend sending 5,000 postcards per month, and it'll cost anywhere from 30 to 50 cents per postcard. I know that some of you may be thinking, 5,000? 5,000 is way too many postcards to be sending per month. And at 30 to 50 cents a postcard, that's thousands of dollars out of my budget. But here's what I have to say to that. It's all a numbers game. As a business that relies on finding and closing on properties, you want to increase the likelihood that someone wants to make a call with you so that you can obtain a warm lead from someone who's actually interested and that you can always follow up on, ultimately being the first person to make the deal with them. Alex Hormozy talks about an experience when he was first opening a gym, and he was asking his mentor at that time how to open and market his gym.
This was my first gym, and I was told to put flyers out, right? And I was like, okay, I'll put some flyers out. So I put some flyers out from a guy who was a really successful business owner. And I ended up meeting up with him, a few months later or something. And he was like, oh, how did those flyers work out? And I was like, they didn't really. And he's like, well, what was your test size? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, what was your test size? Like, what did you test before you did, the main amount? And I was like, I didn't do a test size. He's like, well, how much you put out? I was like, 300. He's like, 300? He's like, I don't even test with less than 1,000. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. And then when we start doing it, we do 5,000 a day. And I was like, fuck. And he was doing 5,000. So he was doing 150,000 flyers a month to drive business into his small business. And I was here jerking off about 300. You know what I mean? And so he did 45 times, I think, the effort that I did to get the outcome.
You may think that you're putting in the work when in reality, there are others out there putting out 10, 100 times the marketing effort that you're putting out. Don't limit yourself in what you only think is possible. And if the numbers show for it, that's the reality you have to be able to understand and embrace. Just because 1,000 or 3,000 postcards every month may seem too much for you, if 5,000 postcards is a number that's actually working in the market, you have to be willing to change and adapt. Of course, 5,000 may not be the set and hard rule for your market or area. So I would suggest starting off with a few thousand, maybe 2 or 3,000, and seeing how the numbers work and how many leads come in and go from there. This will be your first source of generating leads and is highly effective, as you'll see why and who you're exactly sending the postcards to. Next, you're going to hire other people to drive around the state or area that you're interested in, and they'll look for properties that fit your criteria. Depending on where you're at financially, you can do this yourself, but you'd ideally want to be delegating this kind of task to someone else, so that when a warm lead comes in, you'll be the one following up on them and getting in touch in order to make the deal happen. If you're so busy driving and looking around for properties, when an actual opportunity comes along, you may be too caught up in a lower dollar per hour activity that you miss the deal that you've been waiting and searching for the whole time. To start, you can hire anywhere from 3 to 8 drivers to drive around and start looking for any property that fits your criteria. Maybe it's a distressed, potential value add property with a 4 to 15 unit maximum with an out-of-state owner who bought it 10 years ago for cheap. Once one of your drivers find a property that fits your criteria, you have them take a picture and add it to your CRM system full of properties and leads. There's another highly effective source for lead generation. I think hiring a VA for your business is an absolute must. And if you're in the US, you're paying them below the minimum wage legally required because of the difference of the value of currencies between the US dollar and other foreign currencies. Some sites I recommend are virtualstaff.ph, onlinejobs.ph, Reva Global, and Upwork, and they're mostly from the Philippines. You're going to hire a VA to go through public property record and government information systems, searching for anything that fits your criteria. Like I said, your criteria can be a property that's been owned for over 10 years. The owner had bought it for cheap. The owner is out of state, making him more likely wanting to sell the property. And a property that has a unit range from 4 to 15 units. You get the properties that the VA finds for you, and you send them all a postcard. Next, your VA takes all of those leads and skip traces them, and then download it into your CRM, such as Sugar CRM, Monday, or Salesforce. With an auto dialing service like Mojo Dialer, Kixi, or Batch Dialer, the VA can make multiple calls at the same time. With Mojo Dialer, you're able to dial up to 3 people at a time and auto dials 300 calls an hour. You can have your VA make about 150 to 200 calls a day. And mind you, you're only paying them $4 to $10 an hour. And so this is a great way to find warm leads or people that are interested, and also find properties that fit your buying criteria, instead of having to waste time on looking at properties that you're not interested in. With someone that calls back expressing their interest in selling, they're considered a warm lead, in which you have your VA added to your CRM. That's where you come in and follow up on all the warm leads. Again, these are people that are already interested and went out of their way to make you guys a call. And so there's a higher chance of making a deal happen. Let's say the numbers work, but it doesn't seem to fit within your time horizon or within your real estate portfolio. You can always refer the properties to a wholesaler for a finder's fee. This is a systematic operation in which you create a funnel that ends up with you receiving a lot of genuinely interested sellers ready to make a deal with you. Having a CRM such as Monday and the other ones I talked about is super important, as you need to be able to track a whole bunch of data as a business to see what's working within the business and what isn't. For instance, you should be able to see the total deals added by the drivers, the number of calls the VA made, the number of calls the VA received, how many appointments you guys made, how many offers you guys made, and ultimately how many offers you guys closed on. From the 5,000 postcards sent out, you can expect anywhere from 10 to 15 calls a week, or roughly 1 to 1.5 calls a day. So from the 10 to 15 calls a week, you'll try to schedule 2 to 4 appointments a week and offer on 1 to 2 deals per week. And that's how you systematically set your business up in a way that you can consistently find, offer, and close on deals that fit your criteria and what you're looking for as a business every single week. Now, of course, you need to keep in mind that the industry can be seasonal, but I look at it as a numbers and probability game. And the more warm leads that you're able to generate that fit your buying criteria, the more you'll be able to obtain the properties that you're looking for and increase the value of your property investment portfolio. Now, remember the deal that we made in the beginning of the video? I want you to like the video if you found any value from what I talked about, and make sure to also subscribe. Don't forget to check the description for more links and info, and check out these videos right here to learn about different ways you can get rich.